So today I'm going to try to show you guys how to change a CV shaft in a 1998 Chevy 2500 OBS truck. They're all basically the same. I'm going to kind of walk you through what I ran across so the next guy in line don't have to deal with that. So most of these half shafts are all the same on this end. They're all the same threads. They're all the same here. But what you really got to watch for, and which really kind of screwed me up, is the end diameters are different. There's a big circle base and there's a small circle base, or a small diameter. As you can see right here, as you look at it, that's the one I ordered off the old Rainforest site, Amazon, which is a small one, which I didn't know there was a difference. Watched several videos and whatnot, and they're all the same from this year to this year. Incorrect. If you look at the difference on that ring to that ring, that's a lot bigger. Not much, just enough to where it won't fit. And so for anybody wanting to know the part numbers, I'll just throw them up on here. You can screenshot them or whatever you want to look at. That's the part number for the big one. Big diameter. HDs are what they mainly came on. This is not an HD. This is just a regular old 2500 pickup. Nothing fancy. 350. Nothing fancy at all, but it's got the bigger HD shafts in it. There's your part number for your small one. I ordered that off the Jungle website, Amazon. So there's that for you. A little tidbit of information. It's really not too hard. I got it tore apart. I didn't get a video of that part of it, but I'll kind of show you how to put it together if I can. This big nut that goes on here, that's a 35 millimeter. I cheated. I used a 36 because I didn't have a 35. Impact is handy, but if you don't have an impact, you can take it off with a breaker bar. Obviously, you got to take your little hubcap off of there. That's easy to do. I just used a 4-way. Then I seen a bunch of people here on the old YouTube. I was watching them, and they were taking the trailing arm off and all this other stuff off. Well, with mine, I didn't have to do any of that. Just these 6 bolts right here. And then I took off my sway bar links here and here, which are all 15 millimeter or 9/16, whichever one you might have. And then I'll try to show you as I'm putting it together, but it's kind of hard to do with one-handed, but I'll try to show you what I can. So you got to shove it up through here. And as you see, once you get the splines, everything in there, there isn't a whole lot of room here. Kind of got to wiggle it and finagle it to where you want it. You got to make sure the seal goes in there correctly. And then you can just spin this to where your bolt holes line up. And then you can just finger snug all of them until you get them all started. Otherwise, if you don't do that, you're going to get one tightened down and you'll get that in there sidewards and it'll never work out to your benefit. As you see, I got 4 out of the 6 started. And you're not going to be able to get these other 2 in there without trying to get your hand all wedged up underneath there. You can't see it very well. But I'll show you a trick on how to do that. Now that you got those 4 in there, you can just take your ratchet, slap her on there, and tighten her down. That's all I used. I didn't use an impact because it's kind of hard to get an impact in there with all that junk floating around. But I'll show you a trick on how to make this move without jacking the tire up if you don't happen to have a level surface or a jack with you. But get those 4 tightened down and then I'll show you the trick. So the way I do it, get those other 2 on there, I just kind of slowly start this nut and make sure the splines are in there. And I get in the pickup, and I start it up, and I back it up. And if you watch your wheel turn, you know those other 2 bolt holes are there at the very top, so you just turn the wheel until you think where you're at. And that might not be quite the right spot, but you crawl underneath there, you're going to see if you got her in the right spot. And sure enough, right there's one of the holes I missed. Other one's right next to it. Put them in there, tighten her down. Next step, ugga that puppy on there. I don't know how many foot-pounds. I think it's 170 foot-pounds or something like that. Look it up. It's in your manual. I usually just buzz her on there till she quits moving. That's how I roll. About right there somewhere. And folks, when you put your little cap on here, do not use an impact on here. All those are is little plastic covers. You use an impact on you, you pull the threads on them. Then you see all these people driving around missing caps all the time. That's why they are. You can literally set it on there, start it with your fingers. And I'll usually actually use just an impact socket or something to that extent when I put them on. Oh yeah, it's quicker with your impact, but you're going to pull the threads in them and then you're going to be missing caps. Another got me a 4-way here. See if I can get the right one on the right first shot there. Oh, must be the other one. That's all you got to do. Tighten her down with that bad mamma jamba. I'm doing her one-handed. I can do it, anybody can do it. So you can see that one right there stripped. Somebody done got the hammer on it before I got to it. That's it. My tips on the sway bar link, that's all they look like. They're a bolt. One of these fancy metal tubes on there. Bunch of rubber thingies. Most of them on these old pickups, you're better off just cutting them off and ordering new ones. I put these new on here probably a year ago, and you can already see how rusty it is on the roads we run around on. I'm going to need a pry bar because the other side's still attached. You got to get up in there and pry it up, and I can't really show you how to do that one-handed. So I'll get it all set in there, and I'll show you how to buzz it on there. So here's kind of how I did mine. It's got to have enough gap to get everything in there, so you got to take some pressure off of it. So I literally just found a board laying out on my wood pile I was going to burn, and took my jacked her up. You don't want to jack her up too far because you'll pull the other side out over here because it's still connected. But you just got to make just enough room to where it'll give you your space to put her back together. Like I said, if they're hard to move in and out, most of the time they're seized up on that little sleeve right there, just cut them out. Go get new ones. I think they're like 60 bucks for 2 brand new ones. But that's pretty much it. Probably took me all in all good hours worth of work. Everything goes good.